Hello everybody, welcome to a Festive Friday. I am going to show you how to make this portrait faux step card. On my regular Technique Tuesday I had made a faux step card, and going back in time as we go across, this was the original card that I had seen that I'd made. It just reminded me. So this is a traditional step card where it's cut and scored at different areas, and then you sort of have to be careful what you're doing. And then I'd seen a couple of videos of faux step cards and I thought, oh, that's the same sort of effect, but it's so much quicker and easier. So as you can see, the pieces are cut and scored, but there's nothing tricky to it. There's not so much measuring. So this was the one that I had done, and this was the one that I had demonstrated just on Tuesday. And when I was doing this one, because these are landscape ones, I said, oh, let me do a Festive Friday and do a portrait version, because they're all 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, which means they fit in a standard envelope and just go in the regular mail. So that's the nice thing about them. So I'll pop the Technique Tuesday unfestive ones off to one side, and I will show you how we make this one. It's using a little bit festive, which is a pack of paper. So it comes with designer series paper, it comes with cutouts. It's just fabulous. To be quite honest, when I pre-ordered as a demonstrator things from the holiday mini catalogue, it was that paper set that inspired me to start Festive Fridays. So there's all these punch outs, and there's hundreds of them. Well, probably not actually hundreds, but believe me, there's an awful lot of them, and they're so lovely, and they've got gold detail on. You can see it shining in the lights there. This is just fabulous. So I'm going to be using some of the designer series paper and some of those die cuts. So without further ado, let's pop that off to one side so I can show you the pieces for the card. So this is 9 by 4 1/4, and it's scored, well, it's scored this way. So it's scored at 3 1/4, 3 1/4, 6 1/2, 7 3/4, which leaves the narrow space at the front. So let me just go ahead and get these score lines folded. So they just double back on themselves. So that's the basis of the step. And then we have another piece which stands up, and this is it. It's 8 3/8. It was going to be 8 1/2, but I chopped a little 1/8 of an inch off, and I'll show you why I did that when I come to doing it. So it's 8 3/8, and it's scored from the left hand side at 3 inches. So we're going to give that a nice crease. There is a piece of basic white which goes on the front, and that is, let me look at my measurement, it's 2 1/4 by 4 1/4. So actually I can just go ahead and stick that on right now. There are 2 pieces of basic white. One goes on the inside and one goes on the back, and they are 4 by 3. And then the designer series paper is a 4 by 4 piece. So it's 4 by 4. Let me just orient my design the right way. So it's 4 by 4, which is lovely because that means you can get 9 of those out of a 12 by 12 piece of designer series paper. But then it's cut at 3 inches and 1 inch, and they will go on the layers. So let me just quickly attach those where they're going to go. So the big one, of course, is going to go in the big area, and let me not attach the small one because we need to put the step on first. So here's why I cut it down to 3 3/8. This one goes on the front, and if it was 8 1/2, it would come all the way down. So when you put the designer series paper on the front, you can see this little piece here, this little extra, and I didn't want that. So I cut a 1/4 inch off So I'm going to lift it up. When I attach it, I'm going to lift it up by just, it's actually an 1/8 of an inch. I'm going to lift it up by that 1/8 of an inch. I'll put a piece of white under so you can see the difference. I didn't want there to be too much, so I'm just going to put 2 rows of adhesive on there. And then, like I say, when I stick it down, I'm going to put it in 1/8 of an inch higher up than the edge of the cardstock, the base. And then this piece will just close down on the back. So 1 row of adhesive and it closes on the back. And now we can put the whites on. I didn't want to put the white on the back until I had that piece attached, because this is going to go over and sort of help to disguise it. And the same, I didn't want to put the designer series paper on the front until I'd done the same thing. So let me quickly pop this basic white on the inside. There we have it. And now I can go ahead and put the designer series paper on the front, and it will run level with this piece of the real red, because we cut it down by 1/8 of an inch. Of course, you don't have to do that. If you'd rather stick with quarters and not get into 1/8s, that's perfectly fine. So then what I did was Peaceful Season. It is such a lovely set of words, and there's also a set of dies, and I cut the 2 Christmas ones, the Christmas background and the Christmas words. So here is the background in red, and here is the words in white. So we're just going to put some glue dots on the back of there. And I'm doing that on the silicone mat so no glue gets onto my work surface while I'm busy. Just need to line those up. Oops. And then pop that off to one side to dry, actually, but of course by the power of television and YouTube and Blue Peter, here is one I made earlier. So what I'm going to do is bring in these lovely ornaments, which was one of the designs that popped out of the paper. But first of all, I'm going to take real red ink, and I'm going to take Happy, and I'm going to stamp that right at the top. This one was a little bit further down because the tree's a little bit shorter than the ornaments, so I needed to make sure that I had room for them. And then I'm just going to pop them on with some dimensionals. Peel the backing papers off really quickly. Come on. And stick those on. And the nice thing is all of these have got a little bit of gold. I hope you can see that glimmering. And then what I need to do is attach the Christmas with some glue dots. Well, dots of glue, not glue dots. They're a totally separate thing, aren't they? And put that on the front. And then last but not least, what I wanted to do was add a little bit of bling. I have got so many blings. I mean, seriously. So these are red and green adhesive back pearls. These were a big hot ticket item last Christmas. So I've still got quite a lot of those left. I'm sure everyone has got some gold or something equally fun and blingy. And these are gilded gems. And what I'm going to do with these is put them hopefully on the top of these ornaments halfway, and it will help hold them on. So it just adds to their bling. So there we have it. They're all different punch outs, so they can't be a complete replica, but I think that's rather lovely, and they're so easy to do. The portrait version of the landscape version that I made the other day. All the directions and dimensions, of course, will be on my blog. If you've got any comments or questions, pop those in the description box below. I'll always answer everybody. If you like what you've seen, please consider subscribing. Give me a thumbs up. I do appreciate that because it helps my algorithm stay busy and I can bring more videos to you. And last but not least, thanks so much for watching.